The federal government has announced plans to launch digital broadcasting in Abuja in December as part of efforts to ensure the realization of the June 2017 digital switchover deadline. Fielding questions from journalists in Abuja after inspecting a set of box manufacturing company, the Minister of Information and Culture, Mr. Lai Mohammed, said that the digital switchover is no longer a matter of choice, but of necessity. He adds that the process of digitization will also provide over 1 million jobs for Nigerian youths within the next 2 years.
We are here to see what progress is being made in the area of set-top box manufacturing, and we are impressed that this particular facility has capacity to run 6 lines, even though they are running only 1 line, because they've finished the work the job we gave them. But we will in future look at the track record of every set-top manufacturer, and that will determine the amount of patronage he or she will receive from us. Apart from Trevonics, here in Abuja, we also have the SMK in Calabar, which also has a very impressive facility, and another company in Osun, which we are going to visit. All these are in preparation for the DSO, which is the digital switchover. You remember a few weeks ago, we did say that the potentials of digitalization is that it can create up to over 1 million jobs for Nigerians in the next 3 years.
In the meantime, a framework for job creation with key focus on agriculture, construction and information and communication technology is to be developed by the federal government in conjunction with the National Economic Summit Group, the NESG. According to the Vice President, government and the private sector have a shared task of maintaining the prevailing enthusiasm in Nigeria for local production. The Vice President, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, said this at the National Economic Summit in Abuja, adding that improving the business environment, reducing lending rates and scaling up intervention funds remains the major focus of government. Our correspondent, Omelogo Nadi, reports.
The first of this panel discussion between the private sector and the government, led by the Vice President of Nigeria, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, at the Nigerian Economic Summit, is job creation, skills and employment. At a time when Nigeria is working to become self-sufficient and reduce importation of goods and services, the Vice President says a framework for job creation is important to ensure that the enthusiasm for local production is fully explored.
There is a job creation unit in my office, and that job creation unit actually has worked out a framework with the NESG. And basically, we're looking at 3 important sectors. We're looking at agriculture and the agro-allied value chain. We're looking at construction and ICT and technology. With respect to agriculture and agro-allied, we're looking at how to create opportunities in agriculture, especially in the areas that government intends to be self-sufficient.
But where should the focus be at this time? The small businesses or the big ones?
The system caters for the big boys. The system should begin to cater for those that will be the fulcrum. Because for any nation to develop, if you neglect your middle class, your small, your micro, all of those cottage industries, they're not there. I would rather have 1,000 millionaires than a billionaire.
Speaking for the private sector, Nigeria's largest employer, Aliko Dangote, says funding is not the major challenge.
The only way where you can create a lot of jobs these days is not by building factories or whatever, it's by by doing agriculture. That's one of agriculture, construction, mining. These are the 3 key areas we need to look at. It is not easy to go and do agriculture at 12%, unless you are going to plant gold.
Pay more attention to the micro, small and medium enterprises, the cottage industries. Invest in skills development and training. continuous intervention and reduction in interest rates are some solutions to get tabled, which participants at the summit agree will promote Made in Nigeria. Omelogo Nadi, Channels Television News.
The People's Democratic Party in the Southwest is making a strong effort at reuniting its members within the region. At a well-attended meeting of elders and leaders in Ibadan, Oyo State capital, a 9-point communique read by Professor Tawheed Adedoja was adopted. Part of the agreement includes the recognition by the leaders that the party is still fractured and needs to be mended to forge ahead.
The theme of the forum, working together to regenerate our party, in line with the spirit of the founding facilitators, aptly set the tone for the meeting, which was attended by many leaders from the 6 states in the Southwest. Chaired by our PDP Board of Trustee member, Mr. Shuaibu Oyedokun, the forum commends the spirit of sportsmanship exhibited by the Makarfi and Sheriff factions as reconciliatory moves intensify.
This forum admonishes the leadership of our party to clearly zone the position of the national chairmanship of our party to the Southwest as the only zone that has never held that position before.
The former speaker, Demeji Bankole, reveals that the party is ready to reconcile to move ahead.
But since the PDP at the national level has started a process of negotiation between the groups, it is important that we do same in the Southwest. And if this is the beginning of negotiations for reconciliation, I am part of it. But if they want us to work properly, they should consult all the other stakeholders so that we set it up together, so that we can work together to win.
And then they communicate from the meeting.
It also urges members and leaders of PDP in Ondo State to close ranks and work together as a solid and united team to sustain the control of the state by PDP from the next election.
And it has been a very useful deliberation. People have actually pointed out where our mistakes lie, where our challenges exist, and we have set up a committee to ensure that we look into all factions, both even including interpersonal grievances, and within the party, we want to see that we bring everybody together.
The forum further mandated all the states and zones to put heads together and constitute a new peace committee to address grievances militating against unity in the PDP.
In the meantime, a People's Democratic Party governorship aspirant in Abuja State during the 2015 general elections, Dr. Oga, has been speaking about his invitation and reports of arrests by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, the EFCC. Dr. Oga told Channels Television that he was invited on the same issue he had previously been asked to report to the Anti-Graft Agency for, which borders on alleged forgery of a memorandum of understanding between him and the client since 2011.
The bone of contention here is that you were arrested by the EFCC. What did you do this time around?
Nobody arrested me. I wasn't arrested by EFCC.
But you were at the EFCC office yesterday?
Yes, I got a call that I should come. And I visited them, and they said, okay, you can go. And that was all. When I got there, it's the same matter they're talking about. Same Mutaz matter, which is, for me, is nothing, because...
On the issue of alleged forgery?
Of alleged forgery. Because the woman wrote another petition, because the woman had written petition to 5 police stations, including EFCC.
Did you forge the memorandum of understanding?
How can I forge memorandum of understanding? She will just ask of it. This transaction was concluded in 2011. For me, currently, I believe it's beyond the surface. Some people are just sponsoring her. Because it's no longer, because, like I always tell people, why should people in Abia offering people bribe to do one thing or the other? It is uncalled for.
Still ahead on the news at 10, federal government plans to raise 1 trillion naira to solve housing deficits in the country. That's on Business News. Stay with us.